Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am happy to be back and doing talking about some music. It's a thing that I haven't done in a while, so I'm really excited to feel like connected to it again, actually. If you have never been here before, my name is Fabian. I do YouTube reviews. Obviously we're on YouTube, but music reviews on certain things. I also have a podcast. We haven't posted on that in quite some time, but we're working really hard on a full season for you guys, and that's a little bit more popular in depth, which will include a few people featured on there as well. So I'm super excited about that to be released for you guys. But yes, if you haven't been here before, welcome. Thank you guys for watching in advance, and let's kind of just get right into it. We are going to be reviewing Happier Than Ever. It's quite a lengthy album, and I want to be able to talk about it as much as possible. I have these studio headphones, which I'm going to listen to it that way, just because of copyright. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, mainly myself. So the first song is titled Getting Older. So Growing Older it's a very mature track. It's obviously a reflection on everything that she's gone through. You know, it's clear that like over time, it's clear that, you know, we were as like people able to sit inside our houses and think about our lives. And Billie is an addition to that. But her maturity level is insane, because the way she's talking about things at the age she is very impressive, because it's even relatable to like me, for example, and just like kind of her personality a little bit, which I think is a little bit raw here. And the fact that she kind of leaves it off as like, I'm going to tell you guys like some stuff now, is a really good opener. It's really calm. It really fits this kind of like theme that we assumed we were getting, with like My Future, Lost Cause, you know, all those kind of things. Growing Older is really good. It definitely fits a specific theme of maturity, and her lyrics are really, really good in that song, like really good in that song. Let's go into I Didn't Change My Number. Oh yeah, and my bad. The whole like it's so weird thing, she starts to play around with her voice, and it kind of gives you a little hint of that. Little barks throw me off, but it's okay. This ending production, okay, yeah, I Didn't Change My Number is a really insanely good song. It's one of the production tracks that like is just like, you know, first of all, I can commend him now for it, but Phineas is an amazing producer, a little too good of a producer if you may ask me. But yeah, he definitely knows what he's doing, and this was a nice little thing to that, like that very like West Coast Californian beat, on top of like the OG Billie sound, is really something else. It's really like calm, but it's enough to vibe to, and then to close out with the production beat that they do is really, really insane. On top of that, you have great lyrics as well, you know? You have Billie Bossa Nova. That song is really good. It's actually really a complete vibe as well. It definitely is a nice little tone down from the last song. And surprisingly, it is flowing at a pretty decent pace. But honestly, I just get lost in the beat on this one, because I think it is definitely a vibe. But yeah, so there's Billie Bossa Nova. I will say I was a little thrown off by the name, because that title it's such a good title, and I really thought it was gonna be like an upbeat song, kind of like the last track was a little bit. But it is still really, really nice. And so far the vibe, like the aesthetic of her album cover just definitely fits in with the music. The next song is My Future. I'm just gonna let it play and we can talk about it a little bit. But My Future was, I think, a track that nobody was completely ready for. It ended up being the first track released like a year ago, and it was very in the realm of like the No Time to Die single. so I don't think anybody was anticipating kind of like any music from her, at least not like a lead for an album. But I thought it was really intelligent, but My Future definitely fits in with this, and it's definitely very matured and kind of fits in this category of like getting older. So, but it's also really just a complete vibe. All right, guys, here's Oxytocin. This is like an adrenaline pumping song. That is insane to me, that Oxytocin song. I feel like, this is how I feel, that Phineas is a really good producer, and I feel like I can tell his influences from people, but it's modern, it's nostalgic, it's all these areas that he really plays around with, incorporates. Like, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the, he's an artist, but he's really a producer, Zoo. This is very that, but it also gives me very, like, Crystal Castles vibes, which is extremely nostalgic. And there's a lot of other influences he has in this record that he definitely used. And it's not just his, it's Billies. Like, they so cohesively can create a body of work that still sounds very fresh and original. It's really crazy to me. Here's Goldwing. Oxytocin also, like, I want to be at the club, like a blackout club, and just, like, I think of this scene from Blade. I felt like that listening to Zoo's album, but that song makes me feel like that as well. It's really crazy. Goldwing. It's like the gospel intro throws you off, but then she just completely takes over. It's like a little bit calmer of a song, but it still has such a good beat to it and such a big, like, rise in levels with the production. And everything that they do to play around with her voice in this record is insane. Like, they do a lot of playing around. Okay, Lost Cause. You ain't nothing but a lost cause. This song is just such a vibe. It's very like West Coast California as well, to me, from what I've learned has been West Coast music. Like, it really reminds me of that, like, alternative R&B that The Neighborhood is really good at doing. So I really enjoy Lost Cause. I have enjoyed it since it came out, and the vibe is just spot on there, especially in the music video, because that's exactly how I want to be with this song. Halley's Comet. This song is so sad. It's really hard to get through sad songs because I don't want to be an emotional wreck. I love the electric guitar in the background. That's a really nice touch. Damn, bitch, that was sad. What are we doing? She's changing it up. Oh, the little piano. This is a really cute part. We're getting into this next half of the album, which is, like, this Not My Responsibility and Overheated. It just takes the album to, like, a different turn. But still, it's very cohesive. It's a nice transition, middle part area. This Not My Responsibility is sick. Her little video was great, but this is... I love it. I just love it. This aesthetic of this track, this is poetry, this is art, it's just gorgeous. Not My Responsibility. And that fucking flow into Overheated just takes me out. Yeah, that last song is just poetry. And then Overheated. These lyrics are so important because I'm not about to redesign myself. Now am I? Wow. But that was phenomenal. Overheated, she genuinely sounds upset. There's a lot of feelings, like in Halley's Comet, you can tell she was actually sad and like emotional about it. In Overheated, you can definitely tell she was getting a little bit pissed off. And I think that song has such an important message for everybody. So really, really happy about that one. And it's the production and the atmosphere about it is just so on point. I'm gonna get into this next song called Everybody Dies. This was a nice place to bring down the album back a little bit from Overheated. Again, it is a pretty consistent track, but it's, again, another powerful message that I think is pretty important, because really, like, this helps show that like nobody's really comfortable talking about death, but here we have Billie, who is at such a young age, and like explaining that it is beautiful in a way. I do really enjoy that because I think people should be aware that death is actually a beautiful thing, even though it is terrifying, and it's terrifying for everybody. And I really like that she left it off as saying like, you know, you are not unknown. She's just like really giving people that message. So I really do appreciate that. Okay, Your Power. Also powerful message. Your Power is a really good track. It's definitely bringing an awareness to something, whether that's her, whether it's somebody else, like we don't entirely know. It's a nice thing to listen to. I definitely don't think that it's like an everyday kind of song, but it's definitely an emotional one. So like if you're in the trenches, you can definitely give that track a listen. And it definitely fits with the vibe of all of the singles, like My Future. It's got that nice relaxed, airy vibe to it as well. So Lost Causes, Your Power is a good one. And then we get into like, it's interesting that this is like the heart of the album within these next few songs, but we'll do NDA. Somewhere in Kauai I could disappear. What the hell are you talking about? Get my pretty name out of your mouth. Let it go so that you remain remarkable. God, a lot of interviews. When they say your name, I just get confused. NDA into Therefore I Am is definitely a really good transition. It's interesting because the NDA is a little bit more on what this record has, and then it kind of flows into what Therefore I Am is. And I think this is a pretty good time to talk about it, but Billie's rollout for this album has been extremely like intelligent, because the sum of this record is what like the evolved Billie is. And the very first single was My Future, and that came very after No Time Left to Die. So it's kind of in the same realm where you're like, okay, she's going for this little bit of maturity. But then you got the next, basically the lead single, which was Therefore I Am. And this was all, like this song is very, it could fit the last record. And it was the last song that she had when she had green hair. So it was really nice because it was like, she had her little phase, and then she was like, this is kind of the end of that. And that last era was pretty lengthy for like a time. And she extended it out this far to be able to incorporate it within this new sound. So it was really nice that she was able to do that. But so you get Therefore I Am, which was, you know, just like a hit. Like I think that this is very like a Bad Guy, and it's very the sound that you see very present on the last record. So you're assuming that this is the kind of record you're going to get, when in reality it's more like My Future with an evolved sound. So then you got more important singles with messages. You know, you got Your Power, Lost Cause as well, was a little bit more personal, but they still had like a pretty hidden message. And then you get to NDA, which was basically the last single before the album, and that completely tied the entire like singles entirely together, because it was like NDA was one of the last songs that like slightly gives you the kind of taste and production of what you're gonna hear on the record. And so that song tying into this one completely brought everything together full circle, and it was just a genius marketing idea. And then you get the album release with the next video with the next song, Happier Than Ever, and that is genuinely the heart and soul of this album. So I think that they've played it really smart, but let's go into Happier Than Ever. Other than that though, like Therefore I Am is a really enjoyable song. It is very like last Billie, and I'm very much enjoying like everything that is new Billie. But yeah, Happier Than Ever. The intro is very like lovely feeling Billie. And then this middle mark with the guitar. Dude. Fucking heart and soul of this record, Happier Than Ever, hands down. And I'm going to tell you guys something that you're all going to be mad about, but Happier Than Ever, that song alone completely wiped Olivia Rodrigo's album. I'm sorry, she just took whatever rock, heartbreak, thing you wanted and just, Billie alone, her and Phineas, took it all out. That is a phenomenal track, like completely phenomenal. She's screaming at the end, it's very emotional. I just can't deal with it. All right, last song on the album is called Male Fantasy. It just makes sense after it would be a sad song. It is the album. Crazy. The last song is pretty emotional and it's extremely personal, I would say as well. I personally would have liked Happier Than Ever to be the last song just because it was the biggest statement and it closed out so like magnificently. But it makes sense that you would have a nice cool down sad song like this to kind of wrap things up as well. Just because I don't really know where that last song would be placed if it wasn't there. But other than that, that is Billie's album. I think it's phenomenal. Like I said, the rollout of this album and era was completely something else. Happier Than Ever being the last kind of music video staple really kind of like how do you say this? Solidifies the whole thing. It's crazy to see the immense amount of growth that has come out of Billie. Lyrically as well, she's grown. I know that she helps make all the decisions with the production because I know it's like if she likes it, she's gonna like it. If she doesn't, she doesn't. But there is definitely some kind of commemoration for Phineas because as a producer, that is not easy to create, and I think it's absolutely great. It is a little bit scary. I think that the sound is so fresh and they're so young to be doing everything that they're doing, but they are doing it. They're just very extremely talented artists. So I definitely feel like a rebrand in the industry is going to be coming. She sets a lot of kind of standards that I feel like are influential for other artists now. You hear her sound in a lot of people's work, you know, so I think that is just gonna keep going from there. I would personally like to have a little bit of a break from Billie. This is great and this era is gonna live, you know, it's gonna live with a tour, it's gonna probably live with a couple more videos, but definitely some performances, live performances, to really finalize everything and make it alive. So I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait for the rest of it. Definitely want the vinyl for this. But yeah, that's Billie. I'm really happy to have this music this year because I was getting a little bit worried. I feel like last year was so heavily consistent with good music, and then this year was kind of up and down. Like it was good and it wasn't great, but this was amazing. This was completely worth the wait. So that's that. Thank you everybody for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How do you like Billie's new music? And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.